Hello students, hope all are doing well. In this video, we are going to learn quantum yield or quantum efficiency, reasons for high quantum yield and reasons for low quantum yield. In the previous video, we started photochemistry and there we have learned introduction to photochemistry, types of reactions, differences between thermal and photochemical reactions, and also two laws of photochemistry. This is the continuation and this is the next topic. So now, just a recollection of second law of photochemistry. What is second law of photochemistry? It is Stark-Einstein's law of photochemical equivalence. What did we learn there? That law states each reactant molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation. That is, there is 1:1 relationship between number of molecules reacting and number of quanta absorbed. So now, what is this quantum yield? Quantum yield is the ratio of number of reactant molecules and number of quanta of light absorbed. So how do we define quantum yield? In a photochemical reaction, the ratio between number of reactant molecules involved in the reaction and number of quanta of light absorbed is called quantum yield. So the formula or expression for quantum yield goes like this. Phi is equal to number of reactant molecules by number of quanta absorbed. Phi is nothing but quantum yield. It is denoted by the letter phi. It is equal to number of molecules involved by number of quanta absorbed. From this formula, we can write the units of phi as molecules per quanta, or it can also be written as phi is equal to number of moles involved by number of Einsteins absorbed. From this we can write the units of phi as moles per Einstein. There is a question for you now. If a photochemical reaction obeys or follows second law of photochemistry, what would be the value of phi? Can you just think? Few seconds time you have. What would be the value of phi if a photochemical reaction strictly obeys Stark-Einstein's law? You know the definition of phi. It is equal to number of reactants by number of quanta absorbed. What is Stark-Einstein's law? Each reactant molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation. For example, phi is equal to 5 divided by 5. That means 5 molecules absorbing 5 quanta of light, then phi value will be equal to 5 by 5, it is equal to 1. So that's what the answer for my question. If the photochemical reaction obeys Einstein's law, phi value will be equal to 1 because there will be 1:1 relationship between number of reactants and number of quanta of light absorbed. But it was found that most of the reactions, they are not following Stark-Einstein's law, and hence phi value will be either less than 1 or more than 1. Phi is greater than 1 or less than 1. That means photochemical reactions, they are not obeying Einstein's law. That means they are deviating from it. This deviation was explained by a person named Bodenstein. According to this person, the photochemical reaction occurs in 2 steps, and from this he could explain the reasons for high and low quantum yield. What did he explain? He explained that a photochemical reaction takes place in 2 steps, and from this he could explain reasons for high quantum yield and reasons for low quantum yield. Now let us learn those reasons. First one, reasons for high quantum yield. So he said that a photochemical reaction takes place in 2 steps. What are those 2 stages? Primary process and secondary process. So what exactly is happening in these two steps? In primary process, each reactant absorbs one quantum of radiation. That means primary process is obeying Stark-Einstein's law strictly, and phi value will be equal to 1. So what is happening in primary process? After absorbing the quanta of light, the reactant molecules, they get dissociated into two free radicals. Carefully follow this sentence. In primary process, each reactant absorbs one quantum of energy and dissociates into two free radicals. The free radicals produced in the primary process, they involve in the secondary process and they give rise to furthermore free radicals. These are again involved in another secondary process, produce more free radicals. That means secondary process is taking place in the form of a chain. So when will it be stopped? It will be stopped only by some strong factors when applied. Okay. So primary process. What is happening in primary process? Each reactant absorbs one quantum of light, dissociates into two free radicals. These are involved in the secondary process, giving rise to more free radicals. These are again involved in another secondary process, producing more free radicals. That is, it is taking place in the form of a chain and it is stopped only by some strong factors. If it is not stopped, it will be continuing in the form of a chain like that only. Okay. So more and more free radicals are being produced. That means the number of molecules are increased because of the secondary process. Hence, by absorbing only few quanta of light, large number of molecules are being involved in the reaction. Hence, quantum yield is very high. Go back to the expression of phi. Phi is equal to number of molecules divided by number of quanta. Number of molecules are more because of the secondary process. For example, phi is equal to 20 molecules divided by 5 quanta of light. It will be equal to 4. That means phi value is not 1, it is greater than 1. So the reactions, the photochemical reactions where secondary process is taking place in the form of a chain reaction will have high quantum yield. Example for this, quantum yield of H2Cl2, that is photochemical reaction of H2 and Cl2, it has a quantum yield of 10 power 4 to 10 power 6. Just imagine how high the value is. So in this reaction, primary process takes place like this. Cl2 plus H2 gives rise to Cl free radical plus Cl free radical, and secondary process takes place like this. Cl free radical produced in the primary process reacts with hydrogen H2 giving rise to HCl plus H free radical. The H free radical reacts with Cl2 forming HCl plus Cl free radical. Like this, secondary process goes on in the form of a chain until and unless it is stopped by some strong factors. Next, coming to reasons for low quantum yield. So a photochemical reaction takes place in two stages we have learned. Primary process, each reactant molecule absorbs one quantum of radiation and dissociates into two free radicals. Sometimes these free radicals might be deactivated or destroyed by various factors like collisions, fluorescence, or sometimes energy might be lost in the form of heat. Because of these factors, possibility for secondary process is low. See, look here, the free radicals produced in the primary process, if they are deactivated or if they are destroyed, how will a secondary process takes place? Chances for secondary process will be very low. Because of this, what happens? The number of molecules will be reduced than the quanta of light. Taking the expression of phi Phi is equal to number of molecules reacting by number of quanta of light absorbed. So, the molecules will be less and quanta of light will be more, and hence phi will be less than 1. Okay, look at the sentence here. Therefore, number of molecules reacted will be less than number of quanta of light absorbed. Therefore, quantum yield of such reactions will be less than 1. There are also some other reasons. Low quantum yield of such reactions is also due to insufficient quantum energy or recombination of free radicals. What is this recombination of free radicals? See, for example, I have given the reaction H2 plus Br2 gives 2HBr. Primary process, what should happen? Br2 should absorb 1 quantum of light and dissociate into 2 free radicals, Br free radical plus Br free radical. Recombination of free radicals means the Br free radical and the Br free radical, they combine together and go back to Br2. So there is no chance for secondary process. Hence the number of molecules will be reduced than the number of quanta of light absorbed, by which phi value will be less than 1. Photochemical reaction of H2 and Br2. This reaction has a quantum yield of 0.01, which is less than 1. So, this is about reasons for high quantum yield and low quantum yield. So, we have learned in this video what is quantum yield or quantum efficiency. Next, reasons for high quantum yield and reasons for low quantum yield. I have quoted one problem also here. Just look at this numerical. Calculate the energy equivalent to Einstein of light of wavelength 4000 angstrom units. The value provided in the problem only 4000 angstrom units. So we should take the formula from Stark-Einstein's law of photochemical equivalence, that is E is equal to 1.197 into 10 power 8 by lambda in centimeters. So wavelength is nothing but lambda. Lambda is equal to 4000 angstrom units given in the problem. Converting angstrom units into centimeters. 1 angstrom unit is equal to 10 power minus 8 centimeters. It is equal to 4000 into 10 power minus 8. So you can calculate 4 into 10 power minus 5 centimeters. E is equal to 1.197 into 10 power 8 whole divided by 4 into 10 power minus 5. What is this 4 into 10 power minus 5? Lambda value. So it comes equal to 0.29925 into 10 power 13 ergs per mole. So in the next video, we will be learning photochemical reactions of H2 plus Cl2 and H2 plus Br2. So kindly note down all these points. Don't miss any point. Read well and practice well. Thank you.